Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and once again I welcome you to my IELTS speaking video. This video is about IELTS speaking part 1, and in part 1 we are discussing the type of questions which examiner might ask you in your speaking test, and I'm telling you the questions along with answers. Let's take a start. In this video I'm going to tell you about questions which are related to family. You must watch the previous videos as well, and you must watch the next videos also, because in this series of videos I'm going to cover IELTS speaking part 1, part 2 and part 3. So let's take a start. About family, examiner might ask you, can you tell me a little about your family? Now a little means a little, it doesn't mean too much, okay? So you can answer, well, I have a brother and a sister. I am the eldest, my brother is the youngest and my sister is the second child. Like this you can answer. There are always alternatives. Let me tell you, do not try to copy my answers 100%. You need to come up with your own answers as well. Alternative answer can be, I have a large family. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I am the youngest one of them. Or you can say, I'm youngest. One of my brothers still lives with my parents. My other siblings have all married and moved to their own homes. Or you can say, I come from a big family of 6 children. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I am the youngest. So there can be many alternative answers, and it's a good idea to provide the true details with the right answer. Next, examiner might ask you, where are your parents from? Now in order to answer this question, you can say, well, they are both born and raised in Lahore. I mean, I am from Lahore, so I can say that. Well, a city in the east of my country. Lahore is in the eastern side of my country, so I can say that. Or otherwise, alternative answer can be, my mother is from a city called Karachi and my father is originally from Quetta. Something like that, okay? But it should be a real answer. Well, if the question is, do you live with your parents? So you can say, yes, I do. I live with my parents. You don't need to give a long answer. They will ask you more questions. Or you can say, I used to live with my parents until 2 years ago, but now I live on my own. Or you can say, at present I live with my parents. Of course, I'm going to live independently in no time. Or once I get married, I'm going to live independently. Huh? Selfish couple. Okay, next is, the question is, are you married? Now, you can say, well, I am not actually married, but I am mentally married. Something like that. No, not at all. The good answer is, yes, I am. I married 3 years ago. Are you married? Yes, I am. I married 3 years ago. Or you can say, yes, I am. Next month, I will have been married for 10 years. It means next month, you've got your wedding anniversary. Well, I got engaged 3 months ago and I am getting married next month. Congratulations. Something like that. Okay, now if they ask you any question about your children, they will only ask you when you tell them you are married. So do you have any children? You can say, yes, I do. I have a daughter. She is 3 years old. I can say, I have a son and a daughter. My son is 13 and my daughter is 11. Well, alternative answer can be, no, I don't, but we are planning to start a family as soon as we have our own house. Well, if examiner asks you, tell me about your grandparents. So you can say, actually, my grandparents passed away when I was a child. If your grandparents are still alive, so you can say, my grandmother is about 80 years of age. Fortunately, still hale and hearty and young at heart. She used to tell me lots of heartwarming stories when I was a child, but unfortunately, I did not have the privilege of seeing my grandfather. Or you can give any other answer. Well, if they ask you, do your grandparents live with you? So you can say, yes, my maternal grandmother. Maternal grandmother is your mother's mother, okay? My maternal grandmother does. She's been living with us for 10 years. She is such a blessing in our family. Or you can say, my grandfather used to live with us, but now he lives alone. Okay, next question is, how would you describe your father's character? Now you're going to describe your father's character. So you can give this answer like, he is so thoughtful and open-minded. As a matter of fact, he has many good qualities and has been always a model of behavior for me. I think his life has been an inspiration to me on many occasions. Or you can give a different answer like, he has a magnetic personality, very dignified, assertive, and so sympathetic. Okay? Well, if the examiner is going to ask you, what is your mother like? Now, what is your mother like means how is your mother? So you can say it's really difficult to describe her in words, but the only thing I can say now is that she has a heart of gold, extremely kind-hearted and devoted to family. She has done incredible things over the years for the members of my family. Every mother is just like the same. And I'm missing my mother. She's home. When I go back home, I'm gonna hug my mother. So anyways, quite sentimental, huh? Alternative answer can be, she's very patient, understanding, and so kind. She is my nearest and dearest friend, or something like that. Now, if examiner asks you, which one do you resemble more, your father or your mother? So you can say, I look more like my father, or I look more like my mother. And then you can describe mainly in my eyes and facial features. Facial features are like nose, lips, cheeks, chin, and all that. So mainly in my eyes and facial features. Of course, my hair is darker and curlier, but in character I take after my mother more, I suppose. Alternative answer can be, in terms of appearance, I look more like my mother, but in character I am more similar to my father. Okay, let's go on. If examiner asks you, who are you closer to, your mother or your father? And you say, I am closer to my wife if you are married. Or you say, I am closer to their daughter-in-law. Okay, that's a funny answer. But anyways, who are you closer to, your mother or your father? You can say, well, it's a difficult question. In fact, I adore both of them, but maybe I am more compatible with my mother. We are mentally very close. Or you can say, well, both actually. Despite the fact that we are from different generations and age gap exists between us, I get on with them very well. So I can't say which one I am closer to, as I love both of them. It's another good answer. If examiner asks you, do you often argue with your mother or father? You say, well, I often argue with my wife. Anyways, so you can say, to tell the truth, sometimes I do, of course. After arguing, I ask them to make up with me. Or alternative answer can be, not really. My parents are so understanding and I have the greatest regard for them. Our parents love us. So you can say, my parents love me. That's why, that's what is called unconditional love, and I should always respect them, so I don't argue with my parents over anything like that. It means you are a good child like me. Examiner can ask you, are you going to bring up your children any differently to the way your parents did, and why? Now this question can be a little unusual and difficult to understand for some candidates. The question is, are you going to bring up your children any differently? Means the way your parents brought you up, are you going to bring up your children in a different way or the same way? So you can say yes and no, or you can say, well, it depends. Let me explain. I believe my parents raised me well and gave me a good education. If I could do the same for my children, I would be happy. Maybe I would be a little more flexible. For example, I believe my parents were unreasonably strict at times. I would try to keep a balance between discipline and flexibility. Clear? Okay. Or you can give a simple answer, I intend to raise my children in the same way as I was brought up. The next question is, do you get on with your brother or sister well, or do you get along with your siblings well? Now, get along well means your relationship with your sibling. So you can say, that's for sure. That's for sure means of course. That's for sure. My brother or sister and I get along so well. We are mentally very much alike. I usually share my secrets with my brother or sister. So you can answer like that. They might ask you any question about family. Alternative answer can be, although my brother or sister and I are characteristically kind of different, we get along very well. Or, oh yes, totally. My brother or sister and I are so like-minded. We have a lot of things in common. Or yes, so well. Although there is a 10-year age gap between me and my brother or sister, we get along very well. We spend most of our time together. We share the same interests and have lots of fun together. Like this you can answer. Okay, if they're going to ask you a question, do you spend a lot of time with your siblings? Do you spend a lot of time with your siblings? Siblings means your brothers and sisters. So you can say, yes, exactly. So, I come from a very close-knit family. Close-knit family means a family that is very well connected, right? The family members are very close to each other. So you can say, I come from a very close-knit, C-L-O-S-E-K-N-I-T knit. So I come from a very close-knit family. We are so dependent on each other and spend lots of time together. Or you can say, unfortunately, not very much. I wish I could. Actually, we don't live in the same city. Now, if examiner asks you, what is the most important quality of your brother or sister? You can say, the most remarkable quality of my brother or sister is having a sense of humor. He is really fun to be with, or she is really fun to be with. I think he or she has a great talent for making people laugh, always ready to crack jokes. Or you can say his or her determination for sure. He or she is so decisive and hardworking. His or her lifestyle has instilled a lot of confidence in me. If examiner asks you, in what ways are you similar to your brother or sister? You can say, in fact, we are very similar in character. For example, we are both outgoing. Or you can say, we are very similar in personality and have lots of things in common. For instance, we enjoy the same sort of sports and music. Clear? Now, this is how you need to give crispy answers, to the point answers, and direct answers. If the question is, in what ways are you different from your brother or sister? You can say, we are totally different in character. For example, I am outgoing, whereas my brother tends to be more reserved, or whereas my sister tends to be more reserved. This is a fantastic answer for speaking part 1. You can give some other answers like, we are rather different in appearance. For example, I have dark skin while my brother has fair skin, and also he is slightly taller than me. Or you can say, we are so unlike that no one would think we are brothers or we are sisters. For example, my brother or sister is very tall and athletic, but I am average height. Okay, if about family, examiner asks you a question, what does your brother or sister look like? Now is the time to praise or to admire your brother or sister. You can say, well, he or she is about my height, sort of thin. He or she has a full head of hair and wears his or her hair up. He or she still has a very youthful appearance for someone who is over 50. If your brother is over 50 or if your sister is over 50, and I think even now your mother will not be over 50. He or she has inherited my mother's good looks. So this is how you can answer. Alternative answer can be, my brother or sister is nearly as tall as I am, but a bit slimmer. He or she is so nice looking and has fine delicate features, round and smiling face, round face like watermelon. Huh? Okay. He or she is a carbon copy of my mother. Like that. Or you can say my brother or sister and I look very similar. There is a striking resemblance. He or she is medium, has medium height, has straight black hair and brown eyes. We are alike. That people often get us muddled up. People often get us muddled up means people often get confused about us, like two peas in a pod. Two peas in a pod means when two people are very much similar. This is idiomatic expression. Two peas in a pod. Two peas in a pod means two people, they are very much similar. How do you usually help your family members with household work? Or how is your housework usually shared in your family? You can say, I usually help my wife if you are married. Otherwise, I usually help my mother with the housework and my sibling, or if you are married then you say, and the children with their school assignments. Okay. Alternative answers can be, to help my parents, I usually do the shopping and household errands. Errands means the household chores. I do the cooking, ironing and so on because I am married and this is my duty. Okay. Alright. I usually take care of the household affairs by doing the shopping. Or although responsibilities have been relatively divided in our home, we willingly help one another. I mean, there is a great sense of cooperation in my family. For example, everyone helps with the washing up and other activities. Now, if examiner asks you, who does most of the shopping in your family? Answer, my wife. Okay, she does all the shopping in the neighborhood. Not only the family but the neighborhood. Just joking. So who does most of the shopping? You can say, my mother, she usually does most of the shopping, but my father and I do some shopping from time to time. Or you can say, I usually do the shopping myself. If examiner asks you a question about your family like, do you like being an only child? So you can say, not really. I think I would be happier if I had brothers or sisters, you know. Sometimes I feel lonely. Or you can say, yes, why not? Perhaps the reason is that I get all my parents' attention. When you are an only child, you will be the apple of your parents' eyes. Apple of eyes, it's an idiomatic expression. So you can use idiomatic expressions like that to get good bands in IELTS speaking. Well, if they ask you, or if examiner asks you, what would you like best about living in an extended family? Living in an extended family means joint family. So what would you like about living in an extended family? You can say, well, the best thing that I like about living in a large family is enjoying family gatherings. You never feel lonely at all because there is always lots of interaction. Or you can say, I would say feeling secure, being supported and sympathized. That's what I like about living in an extended family. Clear? Good. If they ask you, how often do you see your family? How often do you see means how often do you meet? See means meet here. So you can say, if you mean by immediate family, pretty frequently, 3 or 4 times a week. But if you mean my extended family means your uncles, aunts, relatives and all that. Not very often, maybe once or twice a month. Alternative answer can be, roughly once a month. It's a matter of distance. Or you can say, actually I live with them. Being with my family gives me a wonderful sense of well-being. And if examiner asks you, how often do you have a family get-together, family gathering or party, then you can say, well, mainly on holidays, whenever all the family members are home, we have family get-togethers. Usually we do these get-togethers at the weekend and we enjoy a lot. So like this you can answer. Next, are you happy with your married life? Happy and married life? I don't understand. Okay, just joking. Are you happy with your married life? If your wife is along with you, then you say, I am very happy with my married life, and actually my life started when I got married and I'm feeling so great about my marital life. Right? And if your wife is not with you, then you can say the reality. Just joking. So are you happy with your married life? He says, yes, very much. I have a good partner and feel truly blessed with my family life. Or yes, indeed, I have a good life and owe it all to my wife or to my husband. Well, if examiner asks you, do you think you are compatible with your wife or husband? Now, this is something very personal, but they might ask you, what do you think? Why do you think so? So you can answer, yes, absolutely. We have a lot of things in common. A well-matched couple. You can say we are a well-matched couple. We enjoy the same things and have the same ideas, and generally were just made for each other. What a romantic sentence. I think this romantic sentence is written before marriage. Okay, alternative answer can be, like most married couples, we have had our own ups and downs, but now we usually have the same perspectives and interests. Successful marriages don't occur, they are created. From my point of view, the real secret of any successful marriage is to forgive and forget. Or you can say, yes, I am happy with my life in spite of the fact we sometimes get into trouble. In my view, give and take is an important element of any successful marriage. Clear? Last question about family. If they ask you, would you like to live with your parents after you get married? Right? So you can say, yes, I would love to live with my wife's parents after we get married. Alright. So would you like to live with your parents after you get married? You say yes. Or I don't think so. I prefer to stand on my own feet. Or you can say, no, I prefer to be independent, you know, in my own self-contained place. Or well, I would prefer to live with my parents because my parents are getting old and they need me all the time. So I would love to serve my parents, and after getting married, I would love to live with them. That's all. Thank you very much. And there can be some more questions about family you need to prepare. They can ask you, do you live in a nuclear family or extended family? Nuclear family means you, your parents and sibling. Extended family means your uncles, aunts and all that. Do you have any siblings? Have you got any twins, twin brother or sister? How close and warm is your family? How much do you remember from your grandparents? How many aunts and uncles do you have? How many first cousins do you have? Okay, or is there anyone in your family who is not related but considered part of the family, like family friend? Have you got any members of the family living with you? How many children do you have or want to have? What hope or fears do you have for the family or for your family? Do you have any black sheep in your family? Black sheep is a person who puts disgrace to the family name. A person who is strongly disappointed and disapproved actually. What do you like best about your family? How would you describe your relationship with your parents? Do you think your parents understand you? How was your relationship with your parents while you were growing up? Did your mother or father ever tell you what their childhood was? And there are many questions like that. So you need to prepare the answers, and family is one of the important topics in IELTS speaking. If you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel and my other channel, Asad Yaqub Vlogs. I also teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS classes, you can contact me for that. And I also offer online IELTS writing correction service. If you want to subscribe correction service, writing correction service, where I correct your essays, reports, letters, and I also offer correction service in speaking module as well. If you want to subscribe to correction service, send a message. I'll send you all the details. Thank you very much. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best with your IELTS speaking. And let me tell you, this is not it. There are more topics. I'm going to make more videos on IELTS speaking part 1, so that when you go to take your actual IELTS test, whatever the question they ask you, you know the question already, or you have answered that question already. Thank you very much. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best. Take care. Allah Hafiz.